And welcome back to Sports Connection. A very special guest joins us now. It's Greg Howard, who is the Warren County Director of Athletics over there, as well as you are on the KHSAA board, and you've been around high school athletics, coaching, athletic director, all that kind of stuff for so many years. You know the ins and outs of it, and we're glad to be able to sit down here with you today.
Appreciate the opportunity. I really want to start off this thanking you guys in WBKO and Sports Connection. On my way up here, I got to thinking about all the things that you guys do to help promote sports in the 4th region. I mean, I've got goosebumps, and I'm definitely not, because it's an opportunity. We were talking earlier about what happens behind the scenes, what a lot of people don't know, and they don't have a clue. Some of them don't, unless they see it here and see what you guys are doing, promoting our kids in the 4th region. So thanks to you all.
Well, Greg, we could, that's reciprocal, because I mean, I've been doing this for over a decade, and I call on athletic directors. That's my direct line to getting to do shows on your campuses, getting to do interviews with these student athletes. So likewise, sir, and you're as good as it gets. And that's why you're in the position you are now. I called you up this week, Greg, because over the last few years especially, and it's always been a thing, but you know, sports don't really happen without referees and umpires, you know, and it's getting harder these days, not only to fill the pipeline, but to keep it filled. And I wanted to get you on to kind of go down that rabbit hole and look for some new, fresh faces that love to be around sports, and that, hey, you can still be around sports and play a part, because a lot of people didn't go to college to play what they played in high school. So it's a good outlet.
Right. And I think, you know, to preface this, we had a little situation, it's called time. When COVID hit, we had a lot of officials in different sports that just decided, hey, you know, I'm not coming back after COVID. The negative part that we found out with doing surveys, not just in Kentucky, but across the United States, that 84% of officials that did not come back or decided to get out of officiating is because of parent and fan behavior and coaches' behavior. Now, that's a negative. Obviously, the NFHS, the KHSA, and our local association has done a lot of good in trying to, okay, how do we circumvent that and stop that? And it's been really good. And so now this is one of those opportunities to start talking about how do we get more officials out. We had some that were veterans, been around a long time, and, you know, we're just trying to replenish that pool. And there are provocative things that are going on. You know, we're taking those steps. Warren County Public Schools, we've asked all of our game managers and athletic directors, when there's a meeting, a pregame meeting, that we're actually in attendance with our SRO, and to be there and let people know who are calling the games, you know, that they're going to be a part of, hey, this is who's here to help manage this event. We want you to know who we are.
Kind of going off of that, I mean, whenever it comes to officials and referees, I mean, having those new and fresh faces can be a positive thing, because whenever you go to games, it's not always the same official that gets put in the game that you're playing. I mean, and the games don't get played without them, like Brian said. I mean, you can practice as much as you want and think you're going to have a great season, but you won't ever have a game unless these officials are available. And they go through all the training, they know what they're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to miss calls and stuff like that. And it takes a special person to be an official, I would say. But it's probably also one of the most rewarding positions as well.
Oh, yeah. A lot of our officials and our assigners in the 4th region are just great. I've worked with a lot of assigners all across the state of Kentucky and at different meetings. And I tell those guys in our policy board meetings, we got the best assigners there are in the state of Kentucky that assign all of our sports. The state of Kentucky has also come up through the NFHS with the junior officials program, where we can actually get into the college, and we actually take this program into the high schools that'll adopt it as an elective, and you can actually get college and high school credits to become an official.
That's awesome.
I mean, there's so many numbers we could dive into. You sent me some great analytics, Greg, and over 50% of the umpires and referees out there have experienced some kind of, I don't know what you would even call it. I mean, maybe not violence, but it could lead to that. And that's kind of scary. And it has got. I mean, I remember in my young days, there would be some times when things would go awry at the field, but you didn't hear it like you do now. It's almost like any game. Like we're talking Toy Bowl Little League stuff. I mean, it's so parents can sometimes hinder their child from getting to that level they want them to be at. But something recently has come about, and I think it's incredible. I think it's in 36 states, over 300 high schools. It's called Reps. Tell me about this program.
And that's that program where you can actually, goes back to where you can be a college student or you can be a high school student. And if the KDE, Kentucky Department of Education, has approved that curriculum, you can teach that in your high schools and then 14 and 17-year-olds can actually get on the fields and start refereeing and get that experience with a veteran ref. They wouldn't be put out there with somebody else 14 or 17 years old. They can get in those younger leagues and they can start learning how to be an official at a younger age. It's critical we get that going and we adopt that in our curriculum in our schools.
And I do hope that things do get better over time. I know COVID was a big play and part and stuff like that, and we've seen it recently. I know a lot of the times during this past football season, there was a lot of times where games are typically scheduled for Friday nights, and there were multiple weeks where we had games that were moved to Thursdays because there weren't enough refs available,
right.
And so refs had to double dip to where they had to move a game to Thursday. They refed on Thursday and they refed on Friday, which granted there is an incentive with getting more pay that way,
right.
But refereeing an entire football game is a lot on a person's body, especially doing it more than once a week. So just giving that time and stuff that they do put in and just being able to appreciate what they do out there is another thing as well, because like I said, we're all human and we all make mistakes, but being an official it's got to be special, because a lot of people don't realize that you could play the game of basketball your entire life, but maybe you don't know exactly like all the motions and stuff that it takes to come an official. So seeing that other side of it could be a cool experience to like actually see how the refs actually kind of control the game in sort of kind of way.
You'll find out, I think the majority, if not all of our officials love being official because they're around kids and they're helping and they're giving back to their communities, and they're the pay has gotten a lot better, obviously, for officials, anywhere from $40 to $100 a night or for a game. So that has gotten better, and but the majority of them do it, because they love giving back to their kids and their communities, and so we need to respect that. And I want to go back to something you said earlier. When I go to ball games and I hear people just belligerent and when I talk to a lot of these kids afterwards, they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Their parents were yelling or making a fool of themselves, and it's not going to change the outcome. And what we've learned in sports, it's not that last critical call or that last critical mistake. There were several throughout by both teams, and it just happened to come down to that. So being a ref is a tough job, but very, very rewarding.
I agree.
Well, Greg Howard, we're glad we got you in the cockpit around here, man, helping smooth it all out, and reach out to to be an umpire, be a referee, and like Greg said, it's not for free. You're getting paid. That makes it even better. So, Greg, I appreciate you so much, man, for filling us in on that.
I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for letting me come in and spend time with you all. Thank you for what you do.
Not your first Sports Connection visit, for sure. It won't be your last.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back with another special interview right after the break.